Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Acer's Bly versus Empire's Happy here on Belshire Beach Winter Edition. Alright, let's go ahead and get this game started. We have Bly spawning as the orange Zerg here at what I'll call the 10 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Empire's Happy spawning as the yellow Terran. Terran versus Zerg. This was taken from the Zotac Cup, so once again, thanks for Zotac for making these just replays available, giving me things to cast. I also wanted to let you guys know I made some contacts with TESL, so I should be able to I should be able to keep up with the league and start casting some of their games as well. I know Fly, a longtime Warcraft 3 player, is in the TESL, and of course Gamma Bears' Sen is also in the TSL. Two of the more well-known players in the Taiwan Esports League, and hopefully, Taiwan will just continue to grow and grow and grow in terms of their esports and be able to, really come out with some really strong players, as Taiwan does share a BattleNet server with Korea. So anyone who is masters or grandmasters on that server should be pretty well known. So let's see what the strategies will be coming in from both of these players. So far, Bly hasn't really indicated much of anything. Bly is moving out with, I believe, a 14 drone scout. And this is more of a keep on his drone. Drone wants to make sure that there's not going to be any sort of crazy proxy barrack strategies that he really has to worry about. The drone simply going to pass by that Tonaga Tower. Overlord will be making its move from down over here as well. And we are going to see a barracks being placed here on the front door. Now, Command Center is still training up some SCVs, and the game really will not get underway until, I would say, about the 4-minute mark, when we can start making some predictions in terms of what the overall strategies are going to be. Bly is getting up that hatchery here, so it is going to be a macro game coming in from Bly, and we'll see what his follow-up will be. His third base options are a little bit more limited. This base off over here, there's no real easy way to connect the natural to that third, and then this third base is a very aggressive third base, as you're actually expanding in the direction of your opponent. Happy scouting with one SCV, and we'll quickly see that this is going to be a macro game, and he knows that any sort of early pressure that he would normally be able to place down is not going to be effective. Oh, Bly, with that Overlord, and lucky for him, he was not actually caught in this location here. If this Overlord was actually caught perhaps down over here, the Marine may have actually been able to shoot it down. But Bly really wanted to see if a command center was being placed down. Unfortunately for him, he will not know the answer to that question. Although we do know that Happy is setting up a fast expansion of his own. Fast expansion versus fast expansion. Extractor now being placed down. We should be getting metabolic boost momentarily. Meanwhile, Bly is going into that double queen, double production build. And with that double queen, double production, I don't actually think Bly has enough minerals in order to train up that many drones. So what we may see is one queen do an inject, the other queen lay down a creep tumor, and I think that might actually be better overall. You can take a look at the overall resources. We are now down to, 150, 200. Queens are now out. It looks as though it is going to be a double inject on both sides. And now a queen making its way over here, and now we are going to see 2 additional queens. So Bly opting to go for a 4-queen strategy, and this is really going to shut down the Hellion harassment from Happy. This is the standard play. Queens so effective at taking down Hellions now with that range of 5. If you don't know, Hellions also have a range of 5. I believe the splash damage actually goes to 6, but the targeting range is a range of 5, and that does make a bit of a difference, as we now see a tech lab being added down as well. So we are going into a quick tech lab, and the queens will be able to shut down the harassment both from Hellions and Banshees as well. Happy opting to not build his front door over here right by the ramp. That's more of a stylistic choice. We could see the finishing of the wall off here with another supply depot, and then the Zerglings will be forced to run down here, or perhaps Roaches will be forced to run down here in order to get inside the main base. Now, Bly strategies at this point, he needs to be aggressive in terms of bases, perhaps setting up a macro hatch inside if he doesn't want to take or overexpose himself early on, if he feels like there's going to be a lot of aggression coming in perhaps with Hellions and Banshees, then he may decide to sit back and set up that hatchery. Hellions are going to quickly see that there is not a third base set up, and he should feel pretty comfortable. Happy saying, Zerg, okay, you're on 2 bases, I'm on 2 bases. Harvester count, even if you have an advantage, I do have mules. That will make up a lot of the difference. And now, all Bly's options are to tech. We can see the tech to tier 2 already coming underway, also establishing 2 more gas. And we'll have to see on what the layer tech is. Is it going to be Spire, or is it going to be perhaps Hydralisks or Infestors? The Queen's very aggressive now, even fighting off of creep. 2 Queens off of creep now engaging here. There are some creep tumors being placed down. Both sides trying to engage. Bly doing a very, very good job microing those Queens, though. The Queen now down to 45 hit points. Now backing away. Oh, beautiful transfuse there, keeping the units alive. And there you go. 1 Hellion does go down. The 2nd Hellion goes down. And this is just really strong play, utilizing these Queens as the defensive unit Blizzard designed them to be. We can see, I believe that was a macro hatch now being established, as we saw 10 drones being trained, and we may see Bly hitting maximum capacity on 2 bases in just a moment. Zergling's going to clean up and make sure that there are no Hellions here at the third base taken at the 8-minute 50-second mark, a little bit later than Bly would have liked, but Happy really lost a lot more in that battle than he bargained for. It looks like it is going to be an infestation pit for the option at tier 2. Let's take a look at the armies and what is currently in the unit tab. 52 drones, 11 Zerglings, not very much of an army coming in from either of these players, but Happy does have the slight advantage with 4 Hellions, 3 Marauders, 2 Marines, and now 2 Medevacs. Where are those Medevacs going to go, as the Hellions are now torching here? Going to be able to get some easy shots. Queen's now being forced to back around, and oh, the creep tumor quickly taken down. Bly was unable to cancel that in time, as the Queen is still engaging, and a new creep tumor being placed down. Very aggressive as Bly, trying to take down these Hellions. Still battling out the Queen, may end up falling. The Zerglings coming back around, and oh, may be able to corral them. 1 Hellion does go down. The Zerglings still chasing. 2 Hellions left, 1 Hellion left. Happy finally able to finish torching those 2 Zerglings there. And now finishing off this Zergling here, no blue flame research, but still able to one-on-one that Zergling rather easily. Spinecrawler has made its way down. We see 80 supply versus 89, and Happy with the supply advantage may try to engage sometime soon. He should have the much larger RV composition. There you go, Marines and Marauders with 4 Medevacs as support. That is going to be scary, as the Zerglings spot that army coming in. This hatchery most likely will be done for unless we see a large round of units. Zerglings now coming in. There you go. There's the creep tumors. They're all going to get destroyed here in just a moment. 5 Queens. Zerglings now going to try to do a surround. The Queens do have a range of 5. Going after the Medevacs. Going after those the Marine. Range of 7 against the air. Almost like the Terran Goliath from Brood War. Decent ground range. Very good air range. As we are now continuing to see this fight. There's a fungal growth. A beautiful fungal growth, but without any Baneling follow-up, that is not going to be enough. But what is this? We could see the chain fungal growth here. The chain fungal growth will deal a lot of damage. Finish up this drop, or sorry, not this drop, and finish up all the air units. But the damage was dealt. Taking down that hatchery wasn't an effective trade. 2,300 resources lost versus 2,645. Happy, most likely happy with that exchange, knowing that he is not at least losing in the economic game. He cannot allow that hatchery to be up and operational all too long. Happy does have his 3rd base, and we'll see if he upgrades that to a planetary fortress or upgrades it to an orbital command. Most likely it looks like he will land it off here, and based upon what I hear, Happy sounds like he wants to set up a planetary fortress. Alright, a 4th base already being established by Bly. Zerglings and Infestors looking to come in. There is enough for 1 fungal growth, maybe 2 fungal growths in just, or sorry, 5 fungal growths in just a moment. As a Zergling, there's the planetary fortress now being upgraded, and a lot of damage could be dealt. The Infestors have to be very careful. They do not have enough. There is 1 fungal growth across multiple Marines, a tightly packed group of units there. And once this planetary fortress is up, simple Zerglings will not be able to take it down. A planetary fortress simply simply, or just really good against those Zerglings. Those Zerglings peck away at that 3 armor, maybe even 5 if you get the Terran building armor upgrades, and the Hibiscus cannons dealing 40 damage with splash. Simply too much. Bly looking to wander around here. You can see there are 9 Infestors on the field, and I love this play by Bly. Bly knowing that the longer Infestors are alive, the more and more valuable they become, as you're essentially trading energy and time for units. Chain fungal growths, and once you land the first one, they're pretty much dead. As Happy looking to do a drop perhaps here at the 3rd. There is 1 Queen here, and Zergling's going to quickly finish it off. Oh, sorry, 1 Marine there, as Zergling's going to finish it off. As we now see units still wandering back and forth. There is an Overlord. The Overlord may spot that drop. Units are now coming back around. Siege tanks doing that slow encroachment. Medevac is going to be dropping here in just a moment. The Marines trying to unload, unable to do so, but we're going to see a large group of siege tanks come in. And where are the fungal growths? There's some infested Terran, a lot of infested Terran, and wow, beautifully played by Bly, cleaning this up, and that is a beautiful, beautiful trade by Bly. It didn't look like Happy had much of an army, but we now see a drop trying to come down into the main, in the 3rd. The Medevac is going to be flying away, but we are going into Corruptors and a Greater Spire. Bly transitioning into that Greater Spire strategy. Queens now coming in. The Queens do have 0-2 upgrades. The Medevac's trying to chase or dance in between these 2 positions. Queens are in position to just shoo away that 1 Medevac. The Medevac going to be landing and attempting to take down this Overlord. Queens now in position once again. The Marines are there, ready to go. They are at 2-2 upgrades. Beautiful transfusions to try and keep these units alive. And where is that Medevac going to go? The Medevac is in position. That Medevac, is it going to be able to unload is the question. The Medevac already down to 1 hit point. There it goes. No more Medevac, no more healing. The Queen is going to get taken down though, as the dancing is continuing. The Marines are going to get finished off here, as we now see a large engagement finishing off a hatchery at the 5th base, and now the siege tanks perhaps going to try to clip the low ground here and elevator units up onto the high ground. He is fighting on a lot of creep. Bly, for some reason, not going into Banelings at all, as the Zerglings are now going to get in a nice surround here. Infestor is going to get off some fungal growth. All of those units have nowhere to run. The siege tanks are not going to finish off the Infestors, as the Zerglings are able to clean them up once more. And we see that there are a lot of Medevacs, 6 Medevacs, and a lot of siege tanks, but not that many DPS units, as we're going to see some infested Terrans come in. And yes, fungal growth plus infested Terrans equals 1 dead Medevac. Another hatchery being placed down here. Bly being very aggressive with his expanding. Looks like it will get cleaned up here. Is it going to get canceled in time by Bly? It should. Nope, not canceled at all. Loss of 350 resources if you account for that drone. Marines now making their way forward, continuing that push. Marines still pushing forward and forward, as the Marines coming back in there take down this hatchery here at the top right-hand side of the map. It is now essentially 3 bases to 3, which is good news for Happy, but now we see that Brood Lords have arrived. The Brood Lords are going to clean up these siege tanks and perhaps clean up some of these Medevacs. The hatchery has already been taken down, and the Brood Lords are still trying to do a good chase as Zerglings surrounding some of these units here. Now, this is the game that everyone wanted to see. Infestors and Brood Lords going up against a planetary fortress. How many kills can a planetary fortress get if it is fighting against Broodlings? The most I've seen is about 350, and that is with a lot of SCVs repairing. We could see that as a repeat here once more on Belshir Beach, but Happy continuing to flank, attacking every hatchery as it's trying to be built. Happy could easily unload here, not quite sure why it is not doing so, as Bly is sitting at 176 supply with a much larger army, but unable to engage against a very mobile Terran army. And we'll see what will be happening next. There is 1 extractor off over here. Zerglings and perhaps another hatchery could be placed on here in just a moment. The Medevacs are going to be spotted by these 3 Zerglings. Are there going to be enough units to respond and react in time is the key question. does look like there's a large sea of orange making their way over. And here we go. Zerglings are underneath. Corruptors are nearby. And oh, this is bad news. They are over a cliff. One medevac going to get taken down. They move very slow. One medevac already down. A second medevac down. Unable to unload anything at all. And Bly quickly losing a lot of units and resources there. 50 supply advantage difference. The Vikings are in the air to try and shoot down all of those Brood Lords, but unbeknownst to them, we are already seeing a transition into Ultralisk. Ultralisk coming in, crafting upgrades now coming in as well. That Planetary Fortress will quickly get taken down. Not enough SCVs repairing it, as we now see siege tanks in getting fungal growth. Infestors getting off another fungal growth there, and beautiful chain fungal growth. A 30 supply difference though, and will the Brood Lords be able to finish the job? There are still 2 Vikings nearby, and here we go. In comes the Broodlings. Siege tanks will get taken down, and as soon as that last siege tank gets taken down, this push is pretty much going to get stopped as mass Corruptors coming back over. 40 supply difference once again. Happy trying to retreat, now down 60 supply, and things are looking good for Bly, as Bly attacking once more, and now also getting a lot of spine crawlers here. Zergling gonna try, and oh, fungal growth, are the Marines gonna be able to finish it off? 139, those fungal growths beautifully timed, and so far let's take a look at the losses. A 7,000 resource difference in terms of losses, and I really think it comes down to many of these Infestors. These Infestors have been dealing a lot of damage, even though it doesn't show a lot of kills there. Alright, we can see there, I believe, yes, there is a Thor in this group, but the Thor not going to be effective against anything really except those Infestors. The Infestors, they don't really deal a lot of damage to those Thors, but then again, that is what Neuroparasite is for.